General Milley, with indignation in front of the House and the Senate, you have commented on the statements in the press concerning your phone conversation with your counterpart, General Lee, in China. Let's be clear, to give you some help with the indignation, those comments were in the press because that's where you put them. Now, you claim that you had information, and it's all over, that China was worried about an imminent attack. You did not tell the President, the Vice President, the White House Chief of Staff, the National Security Advisor, the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State, the Director of National Intelligence, either of the relevant committees in the House, including the Big Eight, which you know include Intel. You didn't tell the Intelligence Committee. You didn't tell the Armed Services Committee. You report that after you took upon yourself to have this phone conversation, that you told them of the conversation heard, not that China believed that we were going to imminently attack them, which, by the way, has never been true in my lifetime. And it may be true since they believed it. That's why they're digging ICBM holes faster than they can fill them with ICBMs. But you chose instead to handle it yourself with a phone call. So, General Milley, you offered all of the concerning intelligence, and I'm going to request that you provide it to us. I would like you to provide us the relevant intelligence information that you based your belief that China was going to believe that there was an imminent attack. I also want your request for declassification of the approval that you release that information that China believed so, including your request for declassification of your conversation that you had with General Lee and any approvals. I want a transcript of your call with General Lee, and I also want any readouts, memorandums, notice of calls, or outcomes. Now, you chose to talk to reporters instead of us, and that's great. It's of great concern. No one in Congress knew that one of two of the major nuclear powers thought that they were perhaps being threatened for attack. Now, Mr. Secretary, that turns my questions to you then. Mr. Secretary, if you learn that Russia or China believes that they may be subject to an attack by the United States, as a member of the President's cabinet, do you believe that information should be handled at the cabinet level and with the President, with the National Security Advisor, the Secretary of Defense? Do you believe the chair and ranking member of Intel and the House Armed Services Committee and Foreign Affairs Committee need to know these? Or do you believe that a belief of the possibility of an attack by the United States against Russia and China is appropriately handled by the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff in a phone call with his counterpart with one of those nations? Please tell me that you believe it elevates to the level that you would elevate that to the cabinet and to Congress and not just have it be subsequently told to us all by newspaper articles in the Washington Post and the New York Times as General Milley chose to do.
Thank you, sir. Obviously, we would want to follow standard protocol, and what you described is what I would, the type of actions that I would consider taking. But General Milley, as what I heard him say yesterday, and I think again today, is that his chain of command, the Secretary of Defense at the time, was aware of the actions, and so
after what he said yesterday is after.
I'm sorry.
No, that's not correct. What I said yesterday, today.
If I could hold on just a second, everybody. Time has expired. Mr. Turner is very clever. He made a very direct attack as his time was expiring. I'm going to violate the rules here a little bit and let Chairman Milley respond to that direct attack, hopefully briefly, and then we'll move on to the next witness.
With respect to the intelligence, I have it right here. I'll be happy to share it with you.
Great.
I guarantee that that intelligence was disseminated in the President's PDB, the Vice President, the DNI, Director of CIA, the Secretary of Defense, the Assistant to the President for National Security Affairs, and others. That was significant, and there was a lot of it. It wasn't just a singular report. There was a lot. I'll be happy to share that with you and go over with you line by line. And it was significant, and it was concerning to the point where Secretary of Defense Esper, Admiral Davidson, and myself, along with others, had conversations about it. And I was directed by then Secretary of Defense Esper. First, he directed his Assistant Secretary of Defense for Asia-Pacific Affairs to make calls, and then me. Same thing. This is all done with oversight, and I tried to lay that out in the memoranda. I tried to lay it out in a timeline in an unclassified way that you can use it with your
And
constituents.
we're going to, I'm sorry, we're going to have to leave it at that.
I'll be happy to take it up at a later date, your convenience.